Okay, so I'm excited for today's podcast because this is my third and a half one. And actually, Miss Tay, you are my first author.
Okay.
Because I've only been able to secure narrators up until this point. So you are my first author. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
yep. So I will get into your bio. Just for everyone joining, my name is Kaya. I'm an author, an entrepreneur, a writer, and right now I am a podcaster. Um, and today, as you can see, we have author Tay Mo'Nae in a virtual building, and we are going to get into her bio. So Tay Mo'Nae is a 29-year-old urban romance author who loves writing about Black love. She fell in love with reading in the 5th grade and grew a love for writing her freshman year of high school. Since then, she's written a plethora of unpublished short stories until 2017 when she published her first novel. With 5 years of writing under her belt, Tay Mo'Nae has published over 70 books, with more in the chamber. With her books, she wants to create movies in her readers' minds and gain a new reader with each release. She enjoys writing about complicated characters who grow through the pages to find their HEA. When she's not binge watching anime, baking, reading. When she's not binge watching anime, baking or reading, she's being a dog mom. Sorry about that. So again, welcome.
Right.
How many dogs do you have?
Two.
Two? I'm not good with the kinds of dogs, but what kind do you have?
An American Bulldog and a Pit.
Oh, I'm familiar with those two. Okay.
Yeah, two
Male or
simple
female?
ones. The Bulldog's a girl and the Pit's a boy.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yes.
Okay. So we are going to get started with just a Q&A about your background and everything. So the first question is, when you realized you had the gift of writing, who encouraged you when you first started?
To get published or just write in general?
To continue writing and maybe share it with others?
Well, I was in fourth grade when my teacher first brought it to attention about me being a good writer or whatever. But I mean, no one really pays their attention to the teachers. So I was just like, okay, whatever. So I never really took it serious. Ninth grade, I dabbled a little bit. And then it wasn't until when I first got signed and I was writing in Facebook groups that Nikki Brown and actually Casey Mills actually kind of forced me into publishing in this whole world. So probably those two were the ones that pushed me into this after a lot of persuasion.
Why were you hesitant to go out on your own? Or
just because I'm not really the person to really put themselves out there for stuff. I kind of just play the background with a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I was just writing the short stories just because other authors would post prompts or whatever in their groups, and I would just join in. And I was on Wattpad for a little bit, just doing whatever. And Nikki seen it, and she wrote me cussing me out, how come you didn't tell me? And I'm like, because I didn't. There's nothing to tell.
Yeah.
And she's Casey texted me well, how come you didn't tell me? And I'm like, again, nothing to tell.
Right. Right.
From there.
Okay. And you said that a teacher said that to you in the 4th grade. That's young.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we used to have the state test or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so I always used to enjoy the short stories. And I remember we had to write this wasn't for that, but this was for an actual assignment. We had to write about one of the Greek gods or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I had did Venus and I forgot who Venus was with, but I know it was Venus because I had used her to how Valentine's Day was created a whole little short story with it or whatever. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the starting of, oh, you can actually write a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, that's awesome that she recognized talent that early on. I have a similar story, but I'll save that for another time when I was writing really young. But that's really awesome because they can see stuff that we just don't recognize that early. So the next question is, looking back on your earlier books, in what ways do you feel your writing has evolved?
I feel like now I am better at fleshing out my characters and making them more layered and diverse. And also my stories. I feel like I am better at adding to the story without making it seem drawn out. Like I'm better when it comes to exploring the story and fleshing it out, for sure. Those are probably the two main things.
Okay.
So my world building has gotten better too.
Okay. Now, how do you sharpen your skills? Just from
Um,
writing, or you talk to other authors, or
I read other books. I have writing resources that I've gotten from Amazon, and I also not fully outline, but I outline now. So I kind of give myself a general outline of an outline of
gotcha.
how my story to play out, my characters to be, and I do like development sheets now and everything. So I kind of have a little bit more structure than kind of just having an idea and running with it.
Oh, I'm sure that makes it much easier when you're,
Definitely.
yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Okay, so in your bio, it says you enjoy writing complicated characters. Can you give us some insight into how you create your characters and your storylines?
um, Kind of from like everything, like music. A lot of the time, I'll be sorry, my dogs are coming in here. My not my dogs. Jesus, what was I saying? Oh, I'll be listening to a song and like I don't know, I'll be like, oh, that'll be a dope story depending on what the song's about, and so it can come from that. Or like if I'm trying to figure out like a certain situation and I hear a song and how something play out, I'm like, they're bust the windows out. That'll fit why I need something like that. Movies, TV
Mm.
shows, and other books too. So little and people watching. I'm very nosy. So I'm very nosy. So or even like I'll see like something on Facebook and I'll be like, that'd be interesting to write about. And I'll be like, I'm putting that on the list. So literally everywhere.
Do you find that it's hard to turn off that creative mind because you're
Yes.
constantly it is?
Yes. I feel like every second, even like when I'm laying down, like it's always something's always playing over in my head, especially if I'm really into the story that I'm writing. It
Mhm.
like never up.
Yeah, yep, I get you on that one. Okay. Would you say, next question is, would you say that your female characters embody many of your traits, or do you try to make them as different from you as possible?
um, That's a little bit of both. A lot of the times they do have some type of characteristic of me, whether it's physical or personality wise. But then I try to like diverse them too and make them kind of either something I wish I was more of, something I'm
Mm,
not, or just something completely just random that fits the story. So a little bit of both. It just kind of depends what the story's about and how I'm writing it.
okay. All right. Next question. When you're crafting your characters, do you have in mind what you want your audience to take away from the story? Whether it's a story that maybe you want someone to, hey, maybe I should try this career, or maybe I should have confidence in this. Do you have a message for your readers for each story?
Not all the time, but I feel like readers always come to me and tell me that they find something. A
Um,
lot of the times I kind of just write. There are certain books like where there's certain things I want the readers to take out of, but not all the time. But I feel like there's always some underlying message anyways that I kind of just subconsciously throw in there. So
mhm.
it depends, honestly. Sometimes I just be like, oh, I didn't really know that was going to happen like
Right, you
that,
didn't
but I'm
set
glad
out to
I
do it,
put
but
it
yeah,
away.
gotcha.
Definitely.
Okay. All right. Can you name a time where you took what you considered to be a risk in your writing? like whether it's like a social issue, family issue, religion, or something like that?
I would say I haven't taken anything major actually yet.
Mm-hmm.
Probably when I wrote Tattoo Your Name though, like I focused a lot on like sexual assault and abuse when of minors. Like the main characters had, trauma from both of them from being like sexually abused as kids. So I would probably say that though.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually my first listen by you. And I
Oh
was
yeah, that's
like,
like
yeah, I didn't know what to expect. And I tell you, like you had me as a fan from that one. I was just like, that story unfolded in a way I didn't expect. I just didn't expect, So that was a really awesome book. And I think I wrote somewhere that like you wrote your face off on that book because you really did. Yeah. That's like one of my favorites by you. Yeah.
Yes, that's like my favorite book I've written, so I'm glad.
Yeah, it's an awesome book.
Which book was that?
Tattoo Your Name on My Heart.
Oh, yes. I really like that one too.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, I love that.
I think I've listened to that one twice.
Yeah,
Period.
I know I've listened to that one more than twice. Yeah, I love that one. It's a good one. What do you feel is the most challenging part about what you do as an author?
I would say blocking out the noise. Like, I feel like there's a lot of not even critique, but there's a lot of criticism that comes from like readers and stuff now that wasn't there before. And so I feel like it kind of puts pressure or puts like you in like a weird headspace, when it comes to your writing. And so I kind of just had to learn to block that out and write what I wanted to write and, not really focus on everybody and focus on like my audience and my readers. So yeah, blocking out the noise from other, and also, probably just not basing my career off everybody else's too. Like learning that one's path and everybody's success doesn't measure up to mine or vice versa,
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna throw in an extra question there in there as far as like the most challenging. I know for me, I still consider myself a new author. And writing it, getting it, edited, all that, great. But once it was done, I found the most challenging part for me was to actually get myself out there and get people to know that I wrote a book, marketing and all that. Do you feel that's a challenge for you, or you just kind of, at this point, you build up your audience and you just let, word
I believe it's kind of half and half. Like I feel like I've gotten a pretty solid core audience that I know, like when I release, they're gonna, step behind me, they're gonna read whatever. But I do still struggle with growing that marketing and making because there's like millions of books that release a day, millions of books going, like TikTok's becoming a big thing, people are taking that serious in the book world, stuff like that. So making myself stand out from those authors is kind of more so what I struggle with, to get my book noticed than actually putting it out there and building a fan base. So I guess marketing, kind of just figuring out different ways to make my promo and stuff different from what other authors are doing, and try to stand out that way to gain more like readers I haven't had before, or
Okay. Alrighty. Yeah, marketing, especially when I was new, I was like, I don't know how to get anyone to do that. That was the most challenging for me. So next question is, what do you feel is the biggest misconception about what you do?
For one, that I feel like everyone thinks just because I write books, I want to write their book. Or I am the guru of writing. They're like, I want to write a book. How do I do that? And I'm just like, I mean,
When you
for
say
one,
write,
a lot of
I'm sorry. I was going to ask, when you say write their book, do you mean they say you should write this or you should write that? Is that what you mean?
either they have a life story that they think everyone needs to know, or
Oh, okay.
a book that they're writing, and a lot of times it's a nonfiction book, and I'm like, I don't write nonfiction, I don't even read nonfiction, I don't even like nonfiction. So no. So I think that's it, is they think just because I write books, I want to write their book. And I'm like, no, I'm not. I don't. No. So that's probably the biggest thing. Like, people just think, and that people think that you're supposed to always be on. Like, I don't think a lot of readers realize that writing is very mental. And if you're not mentally in that space, it's just not going to work. And I feel like they kind of think that you're always on even when you're not. And it causes a lot of turmoil for authors, who are constantly being pressured into certain things because they're an author. So you should, like, this is your job, you should write, but it's like, it doesn't always work like that. And I just don't think readers kind of take that into consideration all the time. So probably those two things.
Do you get blocked? Writer's block?
No, I don't necessarily, knock on wood, get writer's block. I more so get motivation block. Like, I know usually, like I said, when I write my books, I outline them to the point where, like, I know my main plots, like my main things I need to happen in the book. So I pretty much know what I need to do and everything. Sometimes, like, if I need a scene to kind of fill in to get to where I need to be, I might, take a couple of days to figure that out. But mainly it's just like, I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this today. Like, I just kind of feel like unmotivated. That's my biggest thing, is just keeping my motivation and discipline. It has gotten horrible over the years. So, but I don't typically, again, knock on wood, get writer's block though.
All right. Now, you're an independent author, right?
Yes.
Or no? Oh, okay. Just curious. Yep. Have you ever considered going traditional?
Yeah, I have. I've actually been thinking about it a lot. I feel like if I take that step, I want to do it. Like, I want to have a solid team behind me. Because one of my biggest goals is to hit, like, the New York bestsellers list, USA, Essence, all that. And I know you can't do that under Kindle Unlimited. So I would hope, to go there, but I want to go where I know a team's going to be behind me and actually help me get to where I want to be, and not just publish my book,
Yeah.
So I'm trying to research, literacy agents, different publishing companies, and, unfortunately, most of them cater to the white authors. So that's a factor too, trying to figure out who's going to help cater. Even though, if I make it there, obviously the other, white people are going to read my books, but I don't want to have to change how I'm writing or whatever, to find that. So yeah, I've seen a lot of people going to, I think it's Black Odyssey. I know they just started last year, I believe, but I've been seeing a lot of indie authors sign with them. So, I feel like they'll be a good
place to start. So my next question for you is, what would you say has been the highlight in your author career? Or highlights?
I would say, for one, just being able to go indie and stay indie. I've been indie for 4 years now, going on 4 years. So just still having, I feel like the level of success I've had by myself, after leaving my publisher, for one. And then for two, I would say my reading base has grown a lot. I feel like I get a new message every day, at least, from one person at least, saying how they discover me and they like are binging my catalog now. So I feel like my reading base has grown a lot as well. And I've won a lot of, like, my Drunken Love won a lot of awards too. So that's definitely a accomplishment. It won like 3 different awards and like this year it came out. So I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. I enjoyed Drunken Love as well. I really did. That was another one. We'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, that was a good one. I actually just listened to it, re-listened to it. I think I ended it yesterday. Man, Kazir was a whole mess. He was a whole mess. And I'll say this, we're getting ready to get into your audiobooks, but when I was listening to that, it's just like every time I thought that he was going to do right, he went and did something stupid. I'm like, oh my gosh. And that's what made it frustrating and interesting and engaging and exciting at the same time, because it's like, is he gonna get it? Because it was like, it seemed like he was not getting it. But yeah, that's another one of my favorites from you. So getting into your audiobook catalog, you worked with narrators such as Murray Brahan, Tree Taylor, Jair Bush, Wesley Shaban, Tony Isabella, Jacoby Dean, Winston James, and Leon Nixon to help you bring your stories to audiobook listeners such as myself. So my question is, what prompted you to start getting your books on audio?
Honestly, just the readers. I'm not an audiobook girly. I don't listen to them. I don't care for them. I just can't. I have like ADHD, so
really,
I'll listen to it. And it's weird because I can listen to podcasts, but like with books and stuff, I'll zone out. I'll start doing something else, and I'll miss like 1 minute they're in the car driving, the next minute someone's in the hospital shot up, and I'm like, well, when the drive-by happened, So honestly, it was just readers asking me, are you ever gonna put your book on audio? Da, da, da. And so I reached out to an author that did audio already, and I asked them about the company they use, and they ended up connecting me, with one of the scouts or whatever from one of the companies, and I went from there. So yeah, it was the readers, because if it was just me, I wouldn't have touched it, because like I said, I'm not girly. No.
That is so interesting. So have you ever listened to your books?
I mean, when I get them, in before they come out,
right before they release.
But no. No.
Are you
every once in a while, because with Kindle, if you have it in audio, it comes on Kindle too. So like every once in a while, like I'll go and like look for a certain scene in like a book, and I'll be like, I'll just hit the play button and kind of whatever. But no, I don't. Unless I'm like promoted or listening to make sure it sounds right. No. And I can't tell you what any of those people sound like.
Oh my gosh. That is shocking to me. Wow. So I'm trying not to stay stuck on this. So if you don't, you listen to it as you get it in, I understand that, but you don't pick your narrators? I mean, I know you work with...
Yeah, I pick my narrators. So when I pick my narrators, they usually send me like samples that they've done for other people's books.
Okay.
And I listen to their voice and be like, I could picture that for this, or I could, whatever, but that's pretty much it. Like, I know nothing about the narrator. Sometimes I even reach out to readers like, is this a good one? Because I just don't, that's just not my criteria, like not my lane, I just, no.
That is so interesting. Okay. I'm gonna get off that, but that is interesting to me. So you kind of touched on it, but the next question is, how do you determine which books you bring to audio? So is it just like what your readers are kind of in your DM saying, or like, how do you make that decision?
I don't know what they just did. Now I pretty much try to get like all my newer books. Usually the companies that I work with will reach out and be like, hey, we've seen you just release XYZ. We wanted to, put it on our roster. Or I'll reach out to them like, hey, I'm finishing up this book. Would you guys be interested? I just did one by myself through Wesley's company, and she like produced it for me. And it was my back catalog. I kind of just try to do the ones that kind of were like, popular, but if I wasn't doing audio at the time, so that's pretty much it. Usually, like I said, my newer ones are for sure things that 9 times out of 10 they're gonna come to audio. And then my backlist is kind of my more popular ones that really weren't acknowledged at the time.
Right.
But I wasn't doing audio, so
that makes sense. Okay. You probably won't be able to narrow this down, but which one of your books could you see on the big screen, and which actors would you like to see play your characters?
Actors, I don't know. But I could see like so Three's a Crowd, I could see that being and I know they're like very kind of but I could see Three's a Crowd being played like starting off on Tubi and then going further. I feel like it has like their right amount of ratchetness and messiness that Tubi movies usually bring. But if I were to aim higher, I could even see it like going further to like Amazon Prime and stuff like that. So Three's a Crowd. I feel like I could see. It's always. Make sure I'm saying this title right. It's Always Been You.
It's Always Been You.
Yeah, I have two.
Okay.
That being like on Lifetime. Drunken Love. I could see probably Drunken Love being like on Netflix or something. Like I could definitely see. A Girl Like Me. I could see that being on like Lifetime. I have so many books. I'm trying to think.
I was going to say that's a good list.
Yep.
I think.
Kind of feel
Go ahead.
all of them. I'm not fine. I kind of feel like all of them can fit in somewhere. It's just kind of which network would be, But yeah.
I think Tattoo Your Name on My Heart would be a good one for like maybe HBO Max.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a good one. Okay. Let's see. My next question is what would you say has been the hardest feedback you've received from your writing, and how did you process it?
I don't really, probably just repetitive words, I guess. That's honest. I honestly, and this isn't even like, to be weird, but I never really received any huge critique with my writing, probably more so from my editor, which is just kind of like expanding my vocabulary and, kind of being more expressive when it comes to using different phrases and stuff. That's probably honestly it, because I've never received any like huge criticism, I don't believe. At least if I have, it didn't stick with me, so it must not have been, but I don't have ever received any like really huge major drawbacks with my writing.
Okay. Do you use beta readers?
Sometimes. It depends. If there's a story I'm writing and I'm kind of like so on, I will, but now for real, not really. I use like ARC readers, but besides that, no.
Okay. Is there another genre of writing you'd like to try in the future?
Yes, I want to do dark romance, and I want to do dark romance, and I want to do mysteries and young adult.
Okay. Alrighty. What advice would you give to an author who is struggling with their confidence and putting their work out into the public?
Lord, don't ask me, because baby, I don't know. I would just say, honestly, no. Build, build your at least core audience whether it's like making sure your graphics are on point, getting really good quotes and stuff to pull, build an arc team, and don't just dive in. Build a buzz around you first. I feel like a lot of new authors, especially the ones that come straight from reading, I feel like they kind of just dive right in. And just build your brand up first, make a buzz, make yourself visible, and then, release. Probably is what I would tell them. That's kind of a hard question.
Yeah, because there are I feel like there are a lot of aspects to after you get your book done, like I was saying earlier, and getting it out there and having the doubt, like, is anybody even gonna read it? Is anybody gonna like it? Or at least that's what I was thinking. Like, I don't know if anybody's gonna read it. I'm like, if I get one person to read it, I'm good. But yeah, I think that you're spot on with, putting yourself out there, creating a buzz and building a team and everything like that. I think that's good advice.
I think a lot, there's not even just new authors kind of go through that. Like, is this book good enough? Is this, especially ones that like try to write something different or, go out of their norm. Because even I still struggle with it sometimes. I'm like, this book could have did better, or I don't know how they're gonna receive it. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying earlier. Like, you kind of just gotta drown out the noise, and just if the book wrote how you wanted it to write, regardless of what anybody else feels, if you feel proud of it at the end of the end, then I say you did your job.
Okay. Is there a book that you wish would have done better than it did because you
here all day? Yeah, so even though it did good, and I say this to everybody, I believe that Tattoo Your Name on My Heart should have did, I don't want to say should have did, but in my eyes should have did what Drunken Love did. I feel like that is my best written book, and I feel like that book should have gotten what Drunken Love gotten. Not that I'm not grateful for what Drunken Love gotten, but right. I did better writing Tattoo Your Name. So that's one book. Oh my gosh, I have so many books. I feel like, honestly, the one I just released, I feel like Ruggish Ways, I feel like that one should have did way better than what it didn't do bad, but I feel like that one should have did way better than what it did. What have I released? Jesus.
Now,
a girl like,
go ahead.
Huh? Oh, no,
I was gonna say, what's your metric that you measure doing good? Is it the reviews? Is it the page reads? Is it what is it?
It kind of depends. Probably more the page reads than anything, because like reviews, I don't trust reviews. Like, I read them, and like wrapped up in Ruggish Ways, for the most part, all my reviews were good for that one. So I like reading my reviews, but I don't really base anything off of that unless like I see like the same critique in every review. Then I'm like, okay, that's what I need to work on. So I don't really base reviews, because I'll see like a 2-star and they'll be like, I love this book so much, it's the best book. So I don't really reviews don't really do it for me. Granted, the more reviews we get, the more Amazon pushes your book and stuff like that. I kind of base it kind of just off like the pages read. Like, that's more so what I keep track on. And I know a lot of the times it has to do with how many words you write, but even if you write, like, I generally write like anywhere from like 85, I'm like 90,000 to like 100 and something thousand words,
Right.
So I write a a decent amount of words, so I kind of just base it off of, you know, my pages read, and then also is the book having a buzz, you know, like Drunken Love. I feel like I couldn't go on any social media without somebody tagging me, without somebody talking about that book, and I'm just like, okay, I'm tired of being drunk in love. I want to be sober. So I base it off that too. Like, is it getting the people talking? You know, is it getting recommended? Is it getting noticed? You know, so those are probably things, honestly.
Okay. Well, your latest release, that is still relatively new, right? It was like last month it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay.
I think my big thing is it's bittersweet because, like I said, I'm really happy. Like, I'm grateful what Drunken Love did, but I feel like now I base every book off of that release.
Oh.
So with that release did, I'm like, you know, what did I do with that book? So I think that's the mindset I'm kind of in now, I'm trying to break. Like, that book really put me on to a lot of new readers, like really got me noticed a lot. So I try to, like, every release now, I feel like I compare to that. And I'm like, I can't do that, you know? But it's hard because it's like,
yeah.
I want to, like, once you hit that, you want to top it. You want to do better than, you know? So it'll come though. Like, Ruggish didn't do bad, but I do think it could have done better than what it did. But
Gotcha. I think it was with Drunken Love. This is just my opinion, and anyone who has listened to it can speak up as well. Like I said in the beginning, I think it's because the male character, he just could not get it right. He just kept failing over and over and over until he got it right. And it was just like watching his journey, because I felt like it was a very real thing. He's just like, you know, like, what am I doing wrong? And I think that was just, at least it was very entertaining for me to just see, like, getting frustrated with him and actually see him develop over the story and become, at the end, you know, what it was that people were saying you need to be. Like, he just wasn't getting it. So I think that kind of that really kept my interest. And yeah, that was, and with Nyasha, she, you know, the issues she had with her parents, I think that resonated with a lot of people as well. In her journey with that. And what I thought was interesting about that, it was like at the end when she met with her parents, you know, I thought she was going to go over there and say, you know, I want to try. She was like, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, that was a little bit of me. I hold grudges, okay? Like, I feel like you hit a certain level with me, baby, you're dead to me. Like, I don't want to, like, poof, be gone. So, like, that would have been me, like, with my, like, for instance, my dad, dead to me. I don't conversate with that man, and that's like my relationship with my dad. I just don't. So, like, that part was me. Like, you asked a little bit of me in every character. That part was definitely me. Like, I probably would have made Kazir struggle a little bit more too, you know. But yeah, that part with the parents was definitely me, because I don't believe in that. Just because that's your family, you need to forgive them. No, go away. Like, that is definitely me. So yeah, that's a little bit there sprinkled, razzle dazzle.
Yeah, I definitely think it was the struggle that drew people in, and the erotic scenes, if you will. I think that also was, you know, big. Well, those always sell, but I think, you know, his persona, his struggle, you know, everything just kind of like went together really well. But I think it was like the struggle, the erotic scenes, and all of that. Like, it was just like a well-crafted story. So yeah. And the narrators, Mr. Leon Nixon, Murray Brahan, I think they did awesome. So
I didn't know that's who I picked. Period. Like, I be forgetting. I just know I like how they sound at the time, and I was like, yes.
Oh my goodness, we have a narrator on the call right now So maybe if he comes through, if you hear his voice, he's on here. Edwin. He did a book for J. Nicole. Oh, here comes one more person. He did a book with J. Nicole called Love Wasn't the Goal. And yeah. So yeah, maybe he'll come around and you'll like his voice. You see what I'm doing, Edwin? I'm shouting you out, even though you cheated on that game. Let me move on. And I'll just say this. I did a podcast. Edwin was on the last podcast and we played a game of urban trivia. I don't know if you ever played that. And everybody cheated. So, and that's why I just keep teasing him about that. Oh, wow. We're actually going there. Okay. Yeah, we are. All right. Next question. Hold on. My screen went away. Oh, next question. Well, it's my last question here. Actually, where do you see your writing career in the next 5 years?
I ask myself this every day. Well, I want to be on the New York bestseller by the time I'm 35.
Okay.
So that's my biggest goal right now. From there, I don't know. I don't know if I want to do films and all that stuff yet. I don't know. But I know I want to be on one of the national best-selling lists by 35.
Okay. Now, you mentioned earlier that you're interested in possibly writing another genre like dark romance. Do you feel like one of your romance books would make it to the bestsellers list, or do you think that you're gonna have to kind of step outside of what you're doing to get there?
I want to say romance would be enough for it, but I don't know. I feel like I think it depends where I would go to publish it. I think it would depend who I publish under and how that goes, because I see a lot of dark romance books. Like I was just in Books A Million today, and like they were pushing a lot of dark romance, books in their sections, category, banner things. So I think if it were to be a romance, it would have to be one that I totally kind of stepped out the box with. Like I said, unless I have that right team behind me, the whole campaign for it is done correctly. So I think we can go either way. I think it just kind of depends, like I said, who I publish under and how big of a actual support team I have behind me to help lay that foundation for it and execute it.
Okay. All right. So that is it for my questions. I'm going to hop over to the poll results I'd put in, and then we're going to talk about your Caught Up in His Ruggish Ways new release. So on my social media pages, I put out a poll and asked for you all, or whoever was to see it, to vote for your favorite Tay Mo'Nae books, and you could have voted for more than one. So in total, we got 12 books that people voted for. So I'm going to give you the first 8, and then the top 3. Okay. So, Fell for the Wrong One, The Sweet Spot, All He Ever Needed, When a Bad Boy Steals Your Heart, D&D, Wrapped Up in His Ruggish Ways. Well, it's Caught Up in His Ruggish Ways. Araya and Lucian, and Heartless Menace. So those were the 8. So the top 3. So number 3 is Drunken Love. Number 2 is actually 2 books, but it's And Then There Was You Parts 1 and 2. And the number one was Tattoo Your Name on My Heart. So
I'm not any of that.
What was that?
I'm not shocked by any of those. I feel like whenever I ask about my books, those are the names that get mentioned. I'm like, I have like 80 books, and those are the only ones you guys ever talk about. But okay, I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. You know what? I always feel like even no matter how old the book is, you could always promote it because there's always someone who hasn't read it. And even when the book, like your audiobook or whatever, is like 2 years old, like I still feel like that's relatively new. Even if you're writing stuff, I feel like in the audiobook world, in the publishing world, that's still kind of new because there's so many people who haven't even gotten there yet. So that's what, yeah, and Edwin is saying it's new to whomever hasn't read it yet. So that's why it's just like go back in that catalog and just go ahead and post whatever, because it's new to somebody for sure.
It's promoting my backlist. That's why I try to do like the character updates and the social media posts through my characters and stuff like that to try to bring awareness to my backlog. I'm like, I have so many books, you know, especially like the ones when I was actually published. I don't think people even really pay attention to compared to my indie ones. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm trying to get better at that, promoting my previous work for sure.
For sure. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So now we're going to talk about your book, your latest release, Caught Up in His Ruggish Ways. I have the...
It's wrapped up in his ruggish.
It is wrapped up. Why did I put caught up? Oh, so someone... I'm sorry. Wrapped up in his ruggish ways. Sorry about that. So there may be some spoilers for those who haven't read it just yet, just to put it out there. So just the synopsis on it is, Ziamara's bad and she knows it. Not only just a cute face, but she's working on her degree as well. Left with scars from her past, she's only focused on her money and building her brand. After encountering Drew in the club, she's offered a job that unknowingly changes things for her, causing her to look at choices differently. Drew is the famous upcoming rapper. He's a father battling to get his baby mama to act right and dealing with stress and rumors that come with fame. He grew up in the streets, but a life-changing experience made him take rapping in life more seriously. The moment he laid eyes on Ziamara, he knew he had to have her. Neither were looking for anything past the bedroom, but as time goes on, a bond forms, and the two find themselves unexpectedly wrapped up in each other. Dealing with a bitter baby mama, the blogs, all their business, and their lives always in the spotlight isn't easy, but the two are determined to make it work. So I have read, I finished reading this a couple days ago. Can you just give us a little insight to where you drew the inspiration from these characters?
Yeah, so I like writing about celebrities for one. It's fun. I feel like the celebrity world is just so many different twists and turns you could throw in there, you know? Oh, thank you. But this inspiration actually came from Ari and Moneybagg Yo. Like, I based these characters off of their relationship.
I don't know who they are, but okay.
Oh. He's a rapper.
I've heard their names before, but I have no idea who they are. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. She's a rapper, or she's an influencer, and he's a rapper.
Oh, okay. Okay. I gotta look them up now. Okay.
Yeah, so I tried to it off of what I see from them on social media and his songs or whatever. He's like one of my favorite rappers. So
okay. All right. So there's a few things I actually liked about the Ziamara character is that she was confident no matter what. She didn't care what people said. She didn't care what people did. She's like, I'm about me, my money, my, me, getting myself together, and that's it. You can say what you want. I don't care. You're not even in my tax bracket type of
Period.
attitude. So I did like that about her. And also, I liked how you added in that she wasn't just, influencer who's just showing her body and trying to get attention, that she had goals outside of what people could see. So I like how you layered her into a character is just like you wouldn't necessarily look at and expect, oh, you're actually doing something else besides showing your body online, because that's what the perception was. So I like that. And with Drew, what I liked about all the male characters you write actually is that once they are in with that female character, they are all in. They are fiercely protective. They ain't playing no games. They'll do whatever it is they need to do for them, and they just like love them like 1,000%. Like I love that I love that about your male characters. Has anyone here had an opportunity to read the book yet? Wrapped Up in His Ruggish Ways.
I have. It was so good. I enjoyed it, as always.
Mm-hmm. And that baby mama, child. See, here comes some spoilers. Now, obviously, she had issues from the beginning.
Yeah.
But the last time he went in and saw the drugs, I was like, well, where did that come from? Now that kind of threw me for a loop. But, maybe she was acting crazy I guess that's the reason why she was acting crazy. But yeah. And I like how he handled her. Like, no, you get out my house. That's it, So, yeah. But I like that it was a happy ever after. I liked how, they got together, and I just like the characters overall. I just like you as a writer, as an author.
Thank you.
So yeah, I really do. Anyone else have anything to say about that book? Anyone else read it?
I know Taylor be tired of me coming in her inbox, but after I read each one of her books, I have to just give her flowers, because I'll finish that book and I'll sit back and I'll reflect on it and I can relate to it. And especially her book, A Girl Like Me, I could relate to that book so much, and it just had me gone. So don't you doubt your gift, girl, because you got it. And I read a lot of books, as you know, and I recommend your books every chance I see. When I see you're promoting one of them, I take and share them on my Facebook page and everything.
I appreciate it too. Thank you.
That's awesome.
I seen Gabby. Oh, thank you. I got a lot of people that say that they feel like they like how I write, like my rappers and stuff. Like it doesn't feel like it's forced or it's like overshadowing the book or whatever. So thank you. Mm-hmm. I always try to find a good balance. And this book I think was easier because, like I said, they were based off an actual couple. So I was able to kind of use them as an example of like how I wanted everything to kind of play out. Mm-hmm. Not how it play out, but personality-wise, how I wanted everything to play out.
Right. So, yep. So that is her latest ebook release. Will that be coming to audio?
Yeah, I'm working on that now. So yeah, it'll be an audio eventually.
Okay. All right. So right now, y'all, it's available on Amazon. It's available on Amazon, on Kindle Unlimited. It's a nice weekend read, very entertaining. So I recommend. Question came through. What was it? How do you promote your books? From Ursula.
I'll actually answer both of yours. One, you asked earlier about my book events. So I'll be in Pasadena, in Love and Books in September. I'll be in Michigan for Miss Candace's Books and Brunch in July, and I'll be in South Carolina for Aisha Bree and Kimberly Brown's Southern Charm, I think it's called, book event. And that's all I'm doing this year. So South Carolina, Cali, and Detroit, I'll be. But promote, I kind of, so I try to do, like, of course, you know, quotes and everything on all my social medias, find graphics, pictures that kind of describe my characters. I do a lot of, like, especially like my celebrity ones, I try to make it as real as possible. It's like I make them like fake Instagram pages, fake Twitter pages, things like that to kind of make it more engaging. I am actually in the process of, I don't know if you guys follow me on not Snapchat, on Instagram, but I'm actually in the process of doing like a character interview, quote unquote, with Drew. So I'm trying to work on finding different ways to make the characters more engaging to the readers instead of me just posting, you know, quotes from the book or the cover, you know, trying to make the readers feel like they're actually involved with these characters. So, TikTok, I've been, you know, getting more, like more active on my TikTok when it comes to my books instead of just like random dances and stuff like that. So I'm trying to utilize that too. So a little bit of everything, honestly. What all you ever needed? Yes. It'll be out sometime this year. The second book to All You Ever Wanted. The whole little franchise will be in audio. So yeah. That's already set in stone.
Any other questions here? Okay. So we're gonna move on to a little bit of an icebreaker. Just some, you know, random questions to kind of get to know you a little bit behind the pen, if you will. So the first question is, oh, what was the last show you binge watched?
What was it called? You guys probably won't know it's anime. It's called Jana of the Dawn. It's a romance anime.
Okay. And that's another thing that was in the wrapped up in this Ruggish Ways book. You made the ZMR character into anime. Yep. So that was definitely you then. Okay. What is your guilty pleasure?
Probably baking. Stress baking at that.
Okay. What's your favorite thing to bake?
It kind of depends, honestly. Cheesecake, cupcakes. I'm trying to perfect peach cobbler. So it kind of depends what I'm in the mood for, honestly.
Let me ask you, because every year I watch the Holiday Baking Championship. Do you watch those type of shows?
Mm-mm.
Gasp. Okay.
No, when I was younger, I kind of was more into like stuff like that, but now, not really, no.
Alrighty. Oh, here's a good one. What's the worst pickup line you've ever heard?
I don't know. I feel like it's been so long since I just been to like oh Jesus.
Or maybe not necessarily, maybe you heard someone say to someone else, not necessarily to you, or just in general.
Honestly, I don't know. I have a really bad memory. Hell if I know. I know I've gotten some bad ones. Probably the ones in all the ones in my DMs. Like,
really?
Yes, I get nonsense all the time. Like, it makes me never want to post a picture again. Like, probably DM pickup lines. They don't be pickup lines. They just be like random nonsense, and I'm just like, we are grown. Like leave me alone.
Okay. What's the last thing that made you laugh offline?
It'll probably life. I don't know. I probably was watching like TV or no, probably my niece. Honestly, my niece. She says some of the stuff that comes out of her mouth. I'm just like, who raised you? So probably my niece.
How old is she?
How old is she? 5.
Oh, okay, yeah. They say, yeah, really, no filter at that age for sure.
Yeah, and she definitely has none. Like she's gonna tell you. So probably her.
Random question: which fast food restaurant makes the best French fries, in your opinion, if you eat fast food?
Probably. I like Wendy's. I like Wendy's French fries. I actually really like Burger King's French fries.
I can get with Burger King French fries too.
Well, not everybody, but probably off the top of my head, probably Burger King.
Okay, I can get with them. What was your best and worst subject in school?
Worst was social studies. I hate history. I just don't care. Like I just don't care. Best was probably what depends what stage of my life, but science, I've always enjoyed science, and then eventually reading, because believe it or not, I wasn't very strong at reading in elementary school. Like reading and all that was not my strong point, but I've always enjoyed science.
Okay. What is your favorite genre of music?
R&B.
R&B. Who's your favorite, one of your favorite artists right now? Or rather, what song do you have on repeat right now?
It's actually not an R&B song. It's actually Yeah, Glow. It's a rap song by Glover. I like listening to that. That's like my affirmation for the day. Like every day I have to listen to that song.
Gotcha. Okay, I actually know that one, and I actually I know that one. I feel so aged right now, but I do know that one.
Hey, listen to me because I've been needing that. Talk to me.
That energy, I get you. Okay. Let's see. What items do you feel are always worth splurging on? Like, no matter what the cost of whatever, I'm just going to get it because it's worth it.
A purse.
A purse. Okay.
I am a purse fanatic. I believe, why not? You know, like you're going to utilize it, you know, even if you don't wear it every day, why not? Go ahead. So a purse for sure. What else? I'm really into Funko Pop characters. They're like collectibles. So those, I like have so many of those, splurging on those. And hell, I say anything that has to do with self-care. So like if it makes you happy, splurge on it. Like I gotten really into like skincare a lot. So I've been like splurging on a whole bunch of different skincare stuff and perfumes and stuff. Books, of course. Like I feel like I'm always reorganizing my bookshelf because I'm always buying something from somebody that I probably don't even need. I don't even touch my paperbacks anymore. I just let them sit on the shelf, but I buy them anyways. So definitely my paperbacks. And candles for sure. I feel like you just can't go wrong with candles.
Alrighty. Do you have any hidden talents?
Probably, but I don't know. Yeah, I probably do. I just don't really can think of it. So I just something normal to me.
No problem. Last question. When's the last time you took a vacation and where did you go?
Probably in November for my birthday. I went to California.
Oh, okay. Which part?
LA.
Okay. Was that your
Yeah.
first time there?
Technically, yes. I went last year to Pasadena for the book event, but like actually California exploring and everything, yes.
Okay.
It was fun. Dirty, but fun.
Yeah, that's one of the places on my bucket list to go is to LA. I haven't been just yet.
Yeah, it was nice.
Okay, so we have I have a game that I would like to do for you before we close up. But before I go there, I want to get to any to the attendee questions. There were some that were pre-submitted. There's a few, some of them you already, well, most of them you already answered. But there are two of them here that you haven't yet. So the first one is, who are your favorite authors? Who are your favorite authors? And do you have a favorite trope?
I don't really have favorite authors anymore. I kind of just have people I read. I mean, there's some that like I read more than others, but I kind of like everywhere is my reading now, so I don't really have a favorite author anymore. And of course, if you read my books, then you know, like Secret Babies, always like accidental babies, secret babies, oops, baby, give me a baby, yes. But I've been getting into like arranged forced marriages. I've been liking a lot of those lately too, and I've been liking like, this is more on the dark romance side, but like the stalker kidnap romances. I've been getting those two. Those are probably the main three I've been getting into lately.
Okay. All right. Those were the only two questions that were left out there. Does anyone in attendance have any questions or anything you would like to say before we move on? You can come off of mute if you would like.
Okay.
Oh.
I will show you attention soon. I'm almost done. He's very. I've had my attention.
Cute. Okay. All right. Well, the last thing I want to do with you is a game. And I always try to come up with interesting and interactive games that hopefully you will enjoy. So I call this game What Would You Write? And what I did was just take a few characters from your book and ask you what you would do with these characters in a particular situation. It's nothing like, too detailed. So the first one is Zarina and Lawson from Fell for the Wrong One. They get into a heated argument. Who was most likely to start the argument and who apologizes first?
Oh, that's hard because neither of them are really. I would say probably start. Oh, that's hard because neither of them are really like. I would say probably start would probably be Lawson. I feel like he's a little more passionate with things. And then apologize. It could go either way. It would probably depend on what exactly the argument's about. So I feel like the apology can come from either way. But Lawson's a little bit. Sorry, stop it. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Lawson's a little more passionate about things, so he would probably start it for sure. Hold on, let me check this door. Stop it. Go outside. Go outside. Bye. Okay. Sorry.
Okay. Alrighty. Okay. From Tattoo Your Name on My Heart, Samara tells Xavion She wants a new tattoo, and he gets to choose what the tattoo is and where it goes. What is he choosing?
Baby, let me see. He's not really a flame. Stop. He's not really a flamer, like overly flamer, but I think he would do something that has to do with self-love or something that has to do with like a motivation type thing. And I feel like I think she got her scars covered by the end of the book, so it wouldn't be there, but I feel like it would be somewhere on her arms that she could look at every day.
Okay. All right. Okay, from Drunk in Love. Naisha and her parents still have a strained relationship. They reach out to Kazir because they want to attend baby Cameron's first birthday party. How does Kazir respond?
No, he's not making that mistake. No.
Tells him no. Okay.
Yeah, he's not making that mistake again. He's one of those, you touch the hot plate, I learned my lesson.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. 2 more questions from Wrapped Up in His Ruggish Ways. Drew's baby mama gets clean and asks him to get her a place to stay. What would Ziamara advise him to do?
She would probably tell him, well, she probably would want hey. Okay, y'all can get separated because y'all doing too much. Okay, move. She would, for one, she would stay out of it. She never really tried to be in their situation in the first place, but if she had to voice her opinion, she would probably tell him not to do it. Like, you have your son, like,
right.
make that like, that would probably be her response. Like, make her get a job, make her work and get her own.
I can see that. Okay. Last question. From And Then There Was You.
Okay.
7 tells Nasir that she needs some mommy time to regroup. What does Nasir plan for her day of relaxation?
Oh God, I gotta remember these people. Okay.
Do you need a reminder?
No, I remember who they are. I'm just trying to remember their personalities.
Okay.
I know on the reserved, quiet side. He probably, because 7 was never really the outgoing, adventurous person. So he probably would like do her like a spa day type thing, like get her like a pedicure, massage, something like that. A chill type of day, probably.
Okay.
Right. Their characteristics and personalities correctly. He would probably just like a mommy spa day type thing and like probably invite Liana with her and his sister maybe.
Okay. Alrighty. And a bonus question, which one of your characters would you fight in real life?
I feel like every feisty girl I have, because their mouths are off the hook. Fight in real life.
Now, are those characters, as you call them,